Probably waste another $5, man. Oh, I'm on some LT Norberg kind of stuff going on here, man. Oh man, what am I gonna do with all this money? So much.
You, my friend, should invest in Papua New Guinea. Our GDP is $16.93 billion, and our GDP per capita is $2,200.
No, get off of him. You should invest in New Zealand. Our GDP is $200 billion, and our GDP per capita is $44,000. Get out of here.
It's only like one thing, though. I mean, I need some more facts to base my $1 million investment.
You should invest in Fiji because we have an employment ratio of 51%.
My friend, once again, New Zealand beats you out. Our employment ratio is 74.2%.
Or you can invest in Indonesia. We have an inflation rate of 7%.
7%? That's ridiculous. 0.1% for New Zealand. Think about that.
Oh man, who should I invest in? There's so many choices.
You should invest in New Zealand.
Who was that?
New Zealand.
Who is that?
This is your conscience.
You need to go invest in New Zealand. New Zealand. That's not New Zealand.
How's it going? How can I help you?
Are you New Zealand?
I am New Zealand.
I'm interested in investing, man.
Well, let me tell you, you made the right choice. All right, first off, I'll get you started in our funds. I'm going to direct you to my funds expert. Over here.
The two funds that our company suggests you invest in are the iShares MSCI New Zealand Capped ETF and the New Zealand Mid Cap. You can see the ticker number and the stock exchange that both of these funds are available in. And both of these funds are broad spectrum investors. They have many holdings, most of which for both of these funds involve services. So to look at the graphs over the last 6 months for both of these funds, the ENZL graph looked something around like this, with a little bit of a decline towards the end, which is right now a perfect time to buy into this fund because as you can see, it's generally been increasing. However, right now it's lowered and is a little bit cheaper, but will continue to increase. Now our MDZ fund looks something a little more like this. Again, it's generally increasing and would be a great fund to invest in the long term because right now, as you can see, the price of the fund is going to be a little lower, but in the long term will definitely give you a lot of money because it'll increase over time.
So as you can see, New Zealand's economy is made up of services, goods-producing businesses, and primary businesses. The majority of New Zealand's GDP is services. Service companies, which the MSCI company holds 6 out of their top 10 are service companies, and the New Zealand Mid-Cap holds 8 of their top 10 as service companies. Here's a graph of New Zealand's GDP growth rate. As you can see, during the past 10 years, the GDP has grown pretty slowly, but this is not any short-term investment. We're talking about a long-term investment. The growth rate of the past 20 years, not seen in this graph, has shown that New Zealand is at a lower point, which means if you put your money in now, it should grow much greater within the next decade.
Now I'm really thinking about investing in New Zealand.
Well, if we haven't sold New Zealand to you yet, let me interest you in learning about the inflation rate in New Zealand.
How's it going? So as you can see, the inflation rate is increasing at a very slow rate, which is good for you. The US dollar is worth only 64 cents compared to our New Zealand dollar, so that means more bang for your buck, all right? This is good for you. Also, the cost of living is rising at a very slow rate, which is the best it's been since the past 16 years, and our CPI is currently at a staggering 0.1%. And don't worry, because as you can see, our experts tell us that in the future, the inflation rate is expected to keep on decreasing, so you don't have a thing to worry about.
Well, hello there. I'll talk to you about unemployment in New Zealand. So as you can see in this diagram here, unemployment was pretty low at 3.8% in 2004. At its lowest in the past 10 years, it was at 3.3%. Gradually, it rose to its highest at 7.3% in 2012. And over the past couple years, it's remained at 6%. Now, New Zealand's definition of the employed age is 15 and over, a little different from the US, but they also include non-paid family businesses, which means if they use US standards for employment demographics, then New Zealand's unemployment rate would be even lower.
Okay, are you ready to invest in New Zealand? Just in case you aren't, okay, we have one more reason we want you to look at. New Zealand's geographic proximity and extensive free trade agreements provide access to key global markets, such as China, Australia, Vietnam, Philippines, Cambodia, Brunei, Indonesia, Hong Kong. I mean, it's a really big deal, and I know you might still be a little iffy, but if you want to invest in New Zealand, the time is really now.
Should I?
New Zealand.
I think my conscience is telling me yes. Just take my money.
Pleasure doing business with you, sir.
Thank you.